Okay, it's 6:30, and we're going to commence our special council agenda, and we do have some planning matters on it, but to get the meeting going, can I have a mover and a seconder to bring this meeting to order? Cogman and Hannah. That the special meeting of the Council of the Township of Springwater of April 23rd, 2018 come to order at 6:30 p.m. All those in favor? Carried. I'll turn to council. Is there any items on tonight's agenda that anybody has a pecuniary interest or like to declare any conflict? Councillor Coghlan?
Thank you, Mayor French. On, lost it now, 9, do you remember what it was? 5-3, pecuniary interest in that my husband's company has recently purchased a property in the Hillsdale area, which may be influenced by servicing to this subdivision.
Thank you, duly noted. Any other pecuniary interest? Okay, seeing none, we shall carry on. So, I need a mover and a seconder to call the planning meeting to order. Alan Coghlan. That this public meeting of council held under sections 17, 21, and 34 of the Planning Act for the zoning bylaw amendment application ZB-2017-018 by Bill Reed, the zoning bylaw amendment application ZB-2018-002 by Celeste Phillips of Celeste Phillips Planning, Inc. on behalf of Stone Manor Woods Holding Corp., and the official plan amendment application OP-2017-002 and zoning bylaw amendment application ZB-2017-007 by Rob McFarland of Innovative Planning Solutions on behalf of 1315076 Ontario Inc., EISIS, Apto Glen Estates be called to order at 6:31 p.m. All those in favor? Carried. And I have an introductory script here because it is a planning meeting. Welcome to the public meeting of Springwater Township Council held in compliance with sections 17, 21, and 34 of the Planning Act to give the public an opportunity to express their views in regard to proposed amendments to the Township of Springwater official plan and zoning bylaw as amended. The first part of this meeting is to present the amendments. Following that, an opportunity will be given to enable those who have any comments, concerns, or inquiries with regard to this proposal to make their views known to council. In addition to any comments made at this meeting, written presentations would also be welcomed by council. If a person or public body who files an appeal of a decision of the Township of Springwater in respect of a proposed official plan and/or zoning bylaw amendment does not make oral submissions at a public meeting or written submissions to the Township of Springwater before the proposed official plan is adopted and zoning bylaw amendment is passed, the Ontario Municipal Board may dismiss all or part of the appeal. Any persons who wish to speak should give their name and address. All comments or questions should be addressed through the chair, and that will be me. Oral submissions will form part of the public meeting minutes record, including the name and address of the speaker, as information collected under the Municipal Freedom of Information and Protection of Privacy Act. The minutes of the meeting will be posted on the Township's website, and we'll be dealing with these individually, just so you know. So first will be ZB-2017-018 by B. Reed at 815 Sunnydale Road. I'll turn to the clerk and confirm notice of this meeting and the dates in which notice was given.
Notice of this public meeting was mailed on the 29th day of March 2018 to the owner of the subject lands and to the assessed owners of 3 properties in the Township of Springwater within 120 meters of the area to which the proposed amendment, and to 105 properties within the City of Barrie within 240 meters of the area to which the proposed amendment would apply, and to all persons in public bodies as prescribed under the Planning Act and its regulations. Notice was also posted at the assessed property to which the proposed amendment applies at a location that was visible from Sunnydale Road. The notice was also placed on the township's website.
Thank you. Has the planning department received any correspondence in response to the notice of public meeting?
Correspondence was received from the Simcoe County District School Board, the Nottawasaga Valley Conservation Authority, and Enbridge, stating no objections.
Thank you. I'll now turn to the township planner, Deborah Ann Lisk, to give a brief explanation of the purpose and effect of the proposal.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good evening, Mr. Chair, members of council, and members of the public. Zoning Bylaw Amendment Application 2017-018 from Bill Reed is a zoning bylaw amendment application to permit an in-law suite in the existing dwelling on the subject lands. The property is located at 815 Sunnydale Road, which is just outside the limits of City of Barrie and the Center Vespra settlement area. This property is zoned and designated agricultural. The applicant is proposing to propose a basement in-law suite in the existing dwelling. No addition is being proposed at this time. The applicant has indicated that the in-law suite is for a family member, which is his son. Those are all my comments at this time. Thank you.
Okay, first I'll turn to the public. If there's anybody has any questions or comments on this application, just come forward, sit down, and take your microphone and identify yourself and make your comments, and we'll deal with them accordingly. Okay, seeing none from the public, I'll turn to council. Is there any questions on this application? I know it's a reasonable standard application. So, get to my scripts. Thank you for attending the public meeting with respect to the proposed zoning bylaw amendment and showing an interest in the matter. So moving on to ZB-2018-002 by Stone Manor Woods Holding Corp. at 3193 Barry Hill Road. I will now turn to the clerk to confirm notice of this meeting and the dates on which notice was given.
Notice of this public meeting was mailed on the 29th day of March 2018 to the owner of the subject lands and to the assessed owners of 108 properties in the township of Springwater within 240 meters of the area to which the proposed amendment would apply, and to all persons and public bodies as prescribed under the Planning Act and its regulations. Notice was also posted at the assessed property to which the proposed amendment applies at a location that was visible from Barry Hill Road. The notice was also placed on the township's website.
Has the planning department received any correspondence in response to the notice of public meeting?
Correspondence was received from the Simcoe County District School Board and Enbridge, stating no objections.
I'll now turn to Celeste Phillips of Celeste Phillips Planning, Inc., planner for the applicant, to give a brief explanation of the purpose and effect of this proposal. Welcome, Celeste.
Good evening, thank you. I don't think I need that. Is this microphone? Yes. Thank you, Mayor, Deputy Mayor, members of council, and members of staff and the public. I'm here this evening on behalf of Stone Manor Woods to request your consideration of a rezoning application. With me this evening is a representative from Tribute Homes and a representative of Yorkwood Homes. The location of the property is in Center Vespra. The green line on this slide denotes the boundaries of Center Vespra running through on a sort of east-west plane is Sunnydale Road. The area that is being contemplated for rezoning is at the top part of Center Vespra, the northernmost part, close to or adjacent to the hydro corridor. The lands are triangular in shape, and I will get to the details of what is being proposed, but I just wanted to advise that just as a recap, Center Vespra was identified as a settlement area back in 1998. The Center Vespra secondary plan or community plan was approved in 2006, and the subdivision plan that you see that has been developing over the last couple of years was approved in 2011 and again in 2013. And that is a subdivision that is all single detached lots with 42-foot, 52, 62, and 85-foot frontages. There is a significant open space corridor that runs through the Stone Manor Woods plan of subdivision. You may recall, members of council, that there are 2 new municipal parks, and there's quite a significant environmental corridor that runs through the center of the ownership, which consists of about 48 acres. So this is the plan of subdivision that is approved for Stone Manor Woods. Again, the area that we're talking about this evening is this triangular shaped parcel in this top part of, maybe I need to show you here, this area here. You will see Thompson Way is the street that currently dead ends here. The lands to be rezoned consist of about 11 acres. 7.6 acres of that area is proposed for dedication to the municipality to continue the environmental corridor that you see running through Stone Manor Woods. The balance of the land consists of about 3.4 acres, and what is proposed are 8 single detached lots. They are shown on this drawing here. So the green represents the continuation of the open space corridor. The dark yellow represents 8 new single detached lots, and the light yellow represents lot additions. And if I go back, I'll just show you that there are already lots approved on Rugman Crescent right here. And the plan that I'm bringing before you tonight shows an extension or an addition to those lots to increase the depth of those lots. There's certainly no change in road pattern other than to extend Thompson Way. There has been confirmation of servicing capacity that was submitted as part of the application. There is no amendment required to your official plan. And as council is aware, the province supports development within settlement areas on full municipal services, and there's certainly lots of provincial support for what is being proposed. So again, on the east side, there would be 4 62-foot lots, and on the west side of Thompson Way would be 4 52-foot lots. Attached here is, shown here is the schedule of the proposed rezoning. The striped area on the right-hand side would be zoned open space, and then the balance of the lands would be zoned 2 residential categories to represent the zoning that is proposed for that area. That completes my presentation.
Thank you. Is there anyone from the public who would like to speak to this? If so, I might as well come and take the other microphone and we'll get answers immediately if anybody would like to come forward. Okay, seeing none, I'll go to council. Is there any particular questions on this application? Deputy Mayor Allen.
Thank you, Mayor French. For the lots that are going to get extended, are any of those sold?
They are part of the 2C registration. I don't know if they've been sold yet. I'm just asking. The answer is no. So we're looking at these lots. There's 9 of them in total that would have the extensions.
Any other questions? Okay, thank you. So thank you for attending the public meeting with respect to the proposed zoning bylaw amendment and showing an interest in the matter. Thank you. Now we move on to OP-2017-002 and ZB-2017-007 by 1315076 Ontario Inc., E-ISIS, in South Half Lot 6 Concession 2 and Part Block 61 and part of Lot 59 of Plan 51M-001 837 former Floss. I'll turn to the clerk to confirm notice of this meeting and the dates on which notice was given.
Notice of this public meeting was mailed on the 29th day of March, 2018, to the owner of the subject lands and to the assessed owners of 34 properties in the Township of Springwater within 240 meters of the area to which the proposed amendment would apply, and to all persons and public bodies as prescribed under the Planning Act and its regulations. Notice was also posted at the assessed property to which the proposed amendment applies, at a location that was visible from Rainbow Valley Road West. The notice was also placed on the township's website.
Has the planning department received any correspondence in response to the notice of public meeting?
Correspondence was received from the Simcoe County District School Board stating no objection, the Nottawasaga Valley Conservation Authority stating no objection, Enbridge stating no objection. Correspondence was received from Ainley and Associates stating that the consultant should clarify if there are 2 wells on this parcel, and that any existing well that will not be utilized must be identified for proper MOECC abandonment procedures, and also stating that they generally find this proposed lot layout unusual and unjustified. The reduced frontage of 13.52 meters for lot number 3 should be avoided, and lot number 59 should remain unchanged to avoid any disturbance to Moran Street. They're also stating that in order to avoid potential future severance of lot number 2, they would suggest that the township consider having all 3 proposed lots fronting onto Rainbow Valley Road with equivalent frontages. Correspondence was received from the County of Simcoe stating that the county is currently reviewing the supporting documents and will be preparing formal comments shortly. There may be policy concerns related to the impact of the proposed official plan amendment and recent changes to the growth plan, particularly policy 6.3.5, which needs to be further reviewed and discussed with the township and the proponent.
Thank you. I now call upon Darren Vella of Innovative Planning Solutions as agent to give a brief explanation of the purpose and effect of the proposal. Mr. Vella?
Good evening, Mr. Chair, members of council. I'm here this evening on behalf of Ed Ices, 1315076 Ontario Inc. He's in attendance this evening. And Your Worship, really what we're trying to do with this application is just finalize this last block of land that is contained within this estate residential subdivision. So just to provide some context on the application, the subject property is highlighted in yellow, and it possesses 171 meters of frontage along Rainbow Valley Road. It also possesses 73.5 meters of frontage along Moran Street. And Moran Street, that is actually a separate parcel of land. It's a lot that's contained within the Apto Glen subdivision. So combined, both parcels possess a total area of 4.75 hectares or 11.7 acres in size. And when we look at the surrounding lands to the north and to the west is the existing Apto Glen subdivision. To the east is a parcel that's agricultural, rural related, and there are a number of severances off of Rainbow Valley Road on the north side. And to the south is predominantly agricultural lands, and there's also a very large forest tract to the southwest. So when we look at the official plan designation, that's the left slide. You can see that the lot that's fronting onto Moran Street, it's lot 59, is actually already designated estate residential, and then the other block is in the white color, and that designation is rural in your official plan. Then on the right side, that is an excerpt from the township zoning bylaw. So the lot 59 is already zoned residential estate, and then the large parcel is zoned agricultural exception, A-20. And it's important to know that the exception relating to this property does not permit this parcel from having any livestock. So it's excluded from livestock. There's no capability of any type of livestock use on the property based on the current zoning, recognizing that it's in very close proximity to estate residential homes, and there would be a direct conflict for a livestock operation to be put into use in that close proximity. So in terms of the application, before I describe this, I will provide a bit of a history. So the original application was submitted about a year ago to the township. And that application actually proposed the construction of a new municipal road that was going to be coming off of Moran Street and enter the site and terminate in a cul-de-sac. The same number of lots were proposed, but in looking at creating a new municipal road, more requirements on the municipality for snow plowing, garbage pickup, for a total of 3 new lots, there was a lot of meetings between the County of Simcoe and the Township Planning Department in terms of, is it really the most efficient way to develop this parcel by the construction of a new municipal road? So there was a lot of back and forth, policy analysis, additional reporting required to arrive at this revised concept. And so this concept here, as you can see, it eliminates the municipal road. And really what we're talking about is the creation of 2 new lots. That's all that's permitted under the County of Simcoe official plan before you enter into the issue of strip development. So back to Ainley's comments, Ainley's, being the engineering consultant for the township, is probably not cognizant of the planning policy that's regulating how many lots you can have here, both now and into the future. So lot 59 will remain more or less in its existing configuration. However, we will be providing a driveway access to lot number 3 in this location here. And that driveway access will be 13.5 meters in width. The reason why we made it larger than what a typical driveway would be, which would be 6 meters, is so that we could allow there to be landscaping put down each side of the driveway to buffer the asphalt and the presence of vehicles driving in and out of that lot from both lot 60 and lot 59. The other 2 lots, lots 1 and 2, those lots will front along Rainbow Valley Road West. Lot 1 will possess an area of 0.6 hectares or 2 acres, and that lot is the average lot size of a lot contained within the Apto Glen subdivision. And lot 2 will possess an area of 1.17 hectares and will have 111 meters of frontage along Rainbow Valley Road West. All 4 lots will be serviced by private individual wells and individual septic systems. That's the makeup of the entire subdivision. There's no other municipal infrastructure in the area, but they will be serviced with hydro and all the other utilities that are available to the site. So in terms of the application to amend the township's official plan, the lands that are rural, so the white area, those lands are proposed to be redesignated from rural to estate residential. So that will basically take on the same designation as the remaining Apto Glen subdivision. And the policy that we're looking to amend is section 9.4.2.4 of your official plan, which requires all new estate residential subdivisions to proceed by way of plan of subdivision. Because we're proposing a limited number of lots and there is no municipal infrastructure to be built, we are proposing to develop these lots through the consent process. From a zoning perspective, the application will amend the agricultural exception A20 zone, the one I referred to about restricting livestock facilities, and that zoning will change to residential estate. And there will be some exceptions placed on certain lots, particularly lot number 3 as it relates to the lot frontage requirement being 13.52 meters. So here is a table which compares all 4 lots with your residential estate zoning. So the residential estate zoning is in the left column. So those are your requirements right out of your zoning bylaw. And then what we've done is we've listed all of the individual lots that are proposed, just to show you that with the exception of the lot frontage on lot number 3, each of the 4 lots will comply with all of the provisions in your zoning bylaw as it relates to area, frontage, front yard setback, rear yard setback, side yard setbacks, overall lot coverage, dwelling unit floor area, etc. So the buildings that are proposed for these lots will be very consistent in terms of their overall massing and size as compared to the homes that are built within the Apto Glen subdivision. From a planning policy perspective, based on the technical reports that were produced, the findings are that the soil investigation that was completed for this block of land concluded that the lands were not suitable for agricultural purposes. Based on their overall size, their inability to contain livestock, and the fact that they could not comprise a specialty crop, these lands were not deemed to be suitable for agricultural purposes. The proposed development provides limited, but that's all that's permitted these days, estate residential development for the municipality. So this is a kind of a rounding out and infilling outside of a settlement area. This is really the maximum of what can be achieved based on the current planning policy framework when you're developing lands outside of a settlement area. It's not considered strip development. If we were to add one more lot along Rainbow Valley Road, it would be deemed to be strip development, and we would not gain support from the County of Simcoe on this particular application. So that's very important to note to council. The proposed development will be an extension of the existing Apto Glen subdivision. It's not proposed to be a new estate residential area, which is discouraged by your official plan. And the criteria set out in your official plan, section 9.4.2.5, regarding the creation of estate residential lots is also in compliance relative to this application. So with that, Your Worship, the last thing I'll just conclude is we are aware that the province has released new natural heritage mapping and that there's a requirement, I believe it's covered under Mr. Spagnell's synopsis to you, that there's some additional reporting from our end required to satisfy the policies in the growth plan relating to natural heritage. We will ensure that gets addressed. I'm comfortable, based on the fact that this is an open field, that the policies of that natural heritage section we will be able to satisfy, but we will hire the most qualified consultant in that area of expertise to address that issue. So with that, if there's any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer them.
Thank you. First of all, I'll go to the public, and maybe I'll keep Mr. Vella here, and if someone wants to use the microphone beside him to pose your questions either directly to Mr. Vella or to our planning department, I'd be quite happy to invite you to come forward.
Oh, I can move it.
That's all right. We'll be fine. Thank you. So name and address, please, for the clerk.
Thank you, Mayor French. I'm Rob, R-O-B-B, Brown, my wife Joyce. We are the owners of number 3 Moran Street, which is the corner lot. We have some questions and we have some concerns, obviously. We are fronted right now by 2 municipal roads. And from what I see, the 13.52 access into lot number 3 is almost like making us an island to ourselves with the road all the way around. I was happy to hear that if it was to go that way, there would be some buffering there, because that would be important to us. our feeling would be if there was a third access off of Rainbow Valley, we would not really have any concerns. But the fact that there would be a long driveway going into that lot is a concern for a number of reasons. And one of the questions I had, it talks about lot number 3 being an occupational home, and I'm not sure what that means. I've got it underlined in here somewhere. Home occupation. It's supposed to be a residential, I understand that, but there was something in there that made me think that there was an opportunity for somebody to run a business out of there. And that is a 5.88 acre lot, which is a big lot. So that was, here it is, home occupations. It's, I guess it's under section 9.4.1. Yeah, so,
Actually, why don't we respond to that? I was going,
Okay.
Mr. Vella can respond to it, or possibly even Director Spagno, but would you, maybe Director Spagno?
okay, sure.
Thank you, Mayor French. The agricultural zone allows for home occupations, which is meant to allow for home businesses, home offices, and things that are more geared towards the house or the residence. The idea behind the home occupation is that it's not supposed to get to a scale that goes beyond of what you would consider to be appropriate for the existing residential house or the residents to go on the property. Anything that expands beyond the requirements of the zoning bylaw would require a full zoning bylaw amendment to reflect the scale. So in other words, the business is to be sized so that it's appropriate for the home, so that it's to minimize any negative impacts to surrounding residences in the area.
Okay, thank you. Our concern would then be that if that was any kind of a business where people went back and forth through there, there would be traffic, possibly dust if it's not paved, maybe noise, equipment, vehicular traffic going back and forth, maybe lighting, we don't know. But when we purchased this property, there were quite a few lots for sale. And we came into Springwater, and we also spoke with the real estate agent. And we also spoke with our lawyer about Lot 59 before we purchased Lot 60. And we were assured, all three parties, that at the time there were no proposals for any changes or amendments or zoning changes, and that it was indeed a residential lot. And so that's why we purchased that lot. There were 7 other lots at the time that we could have purchased. This just seemed to suit us because it was quiet there on the corner away from the highway. But it also, Springwater advised us that the frontage of our property was indeed Rainbow Valley Road, but we could not get an access there because we would have oriented the house with side driveways, so we could have driven right into the garage and maintained the forest that was along Moran. So it had to do with, because we came in off of Moran, our setbacks changed from what we were being told by Springwater to what we were being told by the subdivisor, what the setbacks for the house were. And so everything we did in orienting the house and in the septic tank and bedding and everything was done with the expectation that there would be a house next door to us.
Okay, thank you. Director Spagno, do you want to comment about, or maybe you don't have it on record, just the kind of the orientation of that house on Moran instead of, or like Snow Valley? Is there any particular reason?
Rainbow Valley.
Sorry, Rainbow Valley.
Thank you, Mayor French. So basically, the zoning bylaw provides a definition for where the frontage of the actual frontage of the house has to sit, but it also establishes setbacks. So essentially what would happen is under the zoning bylaw for setting back the house, the property that would flank along Rainbow Valley Road would actually be considered to be the exterior side yard setback under the zoning bylaw, which also incorporates the same setback as it would for a front yard, which means that area is not, I guess that area as far as amenity space in the lot area isn't as available as it say would be for an interior lot where you would have a lesser setback between 2 residential lots. So that does have an impact on the location and the placement of certain things related to the residence because you're dealing with a side yard setback that would be equal to the front yard, which is greater because of this lot being essentially a corner lot into the subdivision.
Thank you. Any other further comments? Because we are gathering the comments tonight, and if you want to follow up with any letters, that's appropriate too, but please go ahead.
I do have a question as to why the driveway would have to come off of Moran as opposed to coming off of Rainbow Valley Road, why that could not be allowed off Rainbow Valley Road.
I'll allow our planning experts, but I think the comment was if it was three lots, because that driveway becomes actually a lot frontage.
Yes, I understand that.
But if it was on Rainbow Valley Road, they're not permitted at 3, it would be considered strip development,
Okay,
so it would not be permitted.
Well, does it not say here you were allowed up to 3?
3, it says
But
more
that-
than
But that
3.
has to include the existing.
Actually, I'll go to Director Spagnol, he wants to comment.
Okay.
Thank you, Mayor French. I think the key here is that earlier on in the presentation, a statement was made that there was considerable planning review and consideration of policy analysis. The reason for the reconfiguration of the lots really is the result of a county policy, which in this instance would not allow for 3 lots to be created along Rainbow Valley Road. So in essence, the lot configuration that's being proposed is really a direct result of county policy, which does not allow for the 3 lots to be severed off of that road frontage.
So then, if the road indeed is going in there,
The lane.
the lane, or driveway, whatever you want to call it, being 13.52, which is obviously much greater, and you're talking about buffering, but we don't know to what extent the buffering would do and how we could benefit from the buffering. We've already planted trees all around our property to give us some privacy, and as people build, it would buffer already, but with this going through, and because it doesn't just stop at the house and it runs right through the property to the back, we would like to have some insurance that, two things, that it would be buffered to a point that over time it would, give us some kind of a screening, not a fence. And secondly, that it would have some kind of a hard surface that, because people have that distance to drive and we have a northwest prevailing wind, that we're not being dusted out every time cars go in and out. And also headlights, obviously.
Right.
We did expect houses behind us, but we did not expect cars going back and forth behind our house.
Do you want to comment, Mr. Vella, on any of those
Sure, Your Worship.
requests or comments?
Well, I would say that those are all valid concerns, and I think those are all things that we can definitely address. We don't want to impact your quality of life at
No.
all, and I don't think those requests are unreasonable at all.
All right,
Well, speaking of quality of life, is another thing, because if there is a driveway going back to that property, it's going back beyond our property and the other 2, and then you'll have lights coming out of that property when people come out at nighttime, and any lights that they also may put on the property. So, quality of life is now our backyard is lit up
Yeah.
in that case.
Which we would
And
have
so are
never
the other
expected.
2,
Yeah.
right?
Anyway, that's the concerns we have.
Concerns.
We would have never expected vehicular traffic to be going all the way in and out,
No.
but now it is a concern. And if something can be done in terms of buffering, that's gonna give us some screening to protect us from that,
Yep.
that would be very much appreciated.
And I guess the only other thing is the size of the property being 5.88 acres, simply because there's nothing else in the community that is that size.
yeah, I think if you can sit down with Mr. Vella and give you a long history on this.
Yeah, I'm
I
sure.
think you
I'm
know
sure
it was
he
going to be, it's
Okay.
going to be a wonderful equestrian center, much like King City, but didn't happen.
But didn't happen.
But anyway, thank you for that input. That's what we have these public meetings for, and our planning takes it. The planner for the, obviously, the proponent have to take it to heart, because all the information tonight is going back to our planning department, and for review and to move the file forward.
Thank you,
Thank
Mr.
you.
Mayor and Council,
Thank you.
Mr. Planner, and thank you, Mr. Bell.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Anyone else from the public like to come up and comment? Those are very good comments. Okay, I'll go to council. Any particular questions from council? Councillor Coghlan.
Thank you, Mayor French, and through you to Director Spagnell. The strip development that was spoken of earlier, how does that differ from a simple severance of 3 properties?
Director Spagnell.
Thank you, Mayor French, to Councillor Coghlan. This is different in the sense that the county uses, it's like a sliding ruler type analogy. And what it does is it says that for any properties that you have residential properties, if you're going to create more than 3 along any rural road, that is considered to be strip development. Their definition is different than what is in the township's official plan, where essentially infill developments are permitted, provided that 2 residential lots are located within 75 meters from one another on the same road. So it's almost like, if you want to think about it this way, filling out the missing gap in the missing tooth. You fill out in between 75 meters. So these are 2 different definitions, which is why the county has come forward and said that this consent application, or the previous application, would not meet their policies because it would represent strip development.
Follow up?
Thank you, and just for clarification again, you said more than 3. But if this is 3, that's not more than 3. So I'm just curious, as if the 59 wasn't included in that property and we just dealt with the big rectangle and put 1, 2, 3 on Rainbow Valley, it's not more than 3, so why wouldn't that be permitted?
Director Spagnell.
Thank you, Mayor French, to Councillor Coghlan. It would be 3 or more. My apologies.
Okay. Councillor Hannah.
Thank you, Mayor. When this comes back to council for approval, it sounds like the planner and our current residents who have concerns will be able to work something out, but will it be in the documentations we receive for approval to mitigate the problems or the concerns of the current residents? Will be something in there to explain or confirm that they have worked out an agreement that everybody's happy with?
Director Spagnell.
Thank you, Mayor French, through you to Councillor Hannah. The planning report will go over all the comments that were raised through this meeting and any mitigative measures. If there's a recommendation for approval coming forward, those mitigation measures will be identified within the report so that it's well known to the residents who have stated an issue or a concern, so that they know how that's going to be addressed.
Councillor Coghlan.
Thank you, and through you to Director Spagnell. The direct mail or the communication for, is it 120 meters again that would be encompassing? Sorry, 140.
Director Spagnell.
Thank you, Mayor French, to Councillor Coghlan. The circulation distance would be 240 meters. So it was double as per council's direction, I believe it was earlier this year.
Continue.
Thank you. And would that there, in the entire subdivision of Apto Glen, would that be included in that 240?
Director Spagnell.
Thank you, Mayor French, to Councillor Coghlan. No, it would not. Because we're dealing with an estate residential subdivision, you're talking about wider lot frontages, so that 240 meters would not cover the whole subdivision, but it would cover pretty much the majority of the lots within the abutting area or adjacent area.
Carry on.
I assume you know what I'm going to request next, but I do think that Moran Street is definitely, that's where all the buses turn, that's where all the kids are, that's everybody that lives in that subdivision. Moran, it's part of that, so I'm hoping that we can increase that so that every resident is made aware of when the next meeting would be.
Okay, thank you. I guess my only comment, and I've heard what the county has to say, but, you know, I've seen this a number of times now. Lot 59 would appear to be an appropriate lot to sit by itself on Moran, just like the rest of the lots, and somehow come up with some configuration off Rainbow Valley Road to deal with other lot configurations, because they're all over the place, from just over an acre to 2.5 acres to 5 acres. And I know that it's an odd piece of land that's in that and was left over from what was originally planned, but we seem to be taking an orderly arrangement of lots at the present time and trying to make it work to add another. And I'm not sure that's appropriate, but planning always seems to have creative ways of and solutions to accessing properties. But I'm definitely not supportive of basically a wide driveway coming in from Moran to access that lot number 3. But that would just be my comment. And we'll see where that goes in the planning report. Any other? Councillor Ritchie.
Thank you, Mayor French. When I looked at this and read this, I remember talking to the mayor and the director of planning, and I didn't know why number 3 wasn't split into 2. But they've answered my questions there. But hearing the residents there and their concerns, I'm glad that I like the width, so you can do the buffers, plant trees, minimize the light at night for the residents there, and it's a concern, and we need to look after them. Too bad that same thing can't be done right behind them, even with berms, with trees planted, and split 3 into 2, because 2.3 acres was that 5 acres? That's still lots of room, even if they were to move and have conditions where the homes are planted at the back, away from the concern of the people there, and split this up, because you're going to have a great big area back there, and why? And yet I know the county says, well, it's strip. It doesn't make sense. I think the concerns of the residents can be met. You've got a big wide roadway there, and put another lot in there and utilize this and make this thing work. There's no reason why that can't. And that's my comments. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments from council? Okay. Well, thank you, Mr. Vella. So thank you for attending the public meeting with respect to the proposed official plan and zoning bylaw amendments and showing an interest in the matter. We're conducting a meeting. Can you have a separate meeting on the sidebar? Thank you. So can I have a mover and a second to adjourn this meeting? McConkey and Coughlin. That this public meeting of the council held under section 17, 21, and 34 of the Planning Act for the zoning bylaw amendment application ZB-2017-018 by Bill Reed, the zoning bylaw amendment application ZB-2018-002 by Celeste Phillips of Celeste Phillips Planning, Inc. on behalf of Stone Manor Woods Holding Corp. And the official plan amendment application OP-2017-002 and zoning bylaw amendment application ZB-2017-007 by Rob McFarland of Innovative Planning Solutions on behalf of 1315076 Ontario Inc., E-ISIS, Apto Glen Estates, now adjourned at 7:16 p.m. All those in favor? Carried. So now we will deal with the Councillor Cog.
Thank you, Mayor French. If it suits you, I just have a question related to that, but obviously we've adjourned that meeting. But I recall it, we approved off of Wilson Road, and was it not 4 lots that we approved off Wilson Road? And how would that be approved by the county if that wasn't strip?
Director Spagno.
Thank you, Mayor French, to Councillor Coughlin. It's a very good question. The difference here is the consideration of where the lots are located. In this instance here, this is a rural subdivision in essence, so it's not within an identified settlement area. The lots that were considered as part of the Wilson severances were considered for that reason, for the severances, because the county policies don't necessarily apply with respect to severances within an identified settlement area. So there was additional, sort of some flexibility that could be used in the application of the township policies, but also in line with that, Official Plan Amendment 33, which still awaits approval, also contemplates infill severances within settlement areas, which provides for greater flexibility. So there was a number of considerations that went into that application, but the key is that that property is located within the settlement area, and the county typically refers or refers the matter over to the township and municipal policy in those instances.
Thank you. Okay, can I have a mover and a seconder to deal with the first Reed application? Coghlan? Hannah? The report from the planner regarding ZB-2017-08 Reed, dated April 23rd, 2018, be received. That subject to the comments received, that the bylaw be presented for consideration subsequent to the public meeting by council. All those in favor? Carried. And now the Stone Manor Woods application. Can I have a mover and a seconder? Coghlan? Ritchie? The council, having held a public meeting in accordance with Section 34 of the Planning Act, RSO 1990 CP 13, as amended, on a zoning bylaw amendment application ZB-2018-002 by Celeste Phillips of Celeste Phillips Planning, Inc., on behalf of Stone Manor Woods Holding Corp., having noted correspondence and input received direct, that the application be referred back to staff. All those in favor? Carried. And the Apto Glen, can I have a mover and a seconder? Coghlan and Allen. The council, having held a public meeting in accordance with Section 17, 21, and 34 of the Planning Act, RSO 1990 CP 13, as amended, on official plan amendment application OP-2017-002 and zoning bylaw amendment application ZB-2017-007 by Rob McFarland of Innovative Planning Solutions on behalf of 1315076 Ontario Inc., E-ISIS, Apto Glen Estates, having noted correspondence and input received direct, the application be referred back to staff. All those in favor? Carried. And now we're moving on to the municipal funding agreement, Ontario Main Street. Can I have a mover and a seconder to get this on the floor? Coghlan, Ritchie. That the report from the planner regarding municipal funding agreement, Ontario's Main Street Revitalization Initiative dated April 23rd, 2018 be received, that a bylaw to authorize a municipal funding agreement be submitted to council for adoption pursuant to the Municipal Act 2001, and that the municipal funding agreement be executed electronically and submitted to the Association of Municipalities of Ontario to secure the funding, and that the funds received through the agreement must be invested in an interest-bearing reserve account until the earliest of expenditure or March 31st, 2020, and that staff submit an annual results report to the Association of Municipalities of Ontario. Questions on that? Director Spago, I'm sure, would be quite happy to answer them. Okay, seeing none, all those in favor? Carried. And the next is the encroachment agreement, 8 Riverdale Road West. Can I have a mover and a seconder to get this on the floor? Coghlan? Allen? That the report from the clerk regarding encroachment agreement, 8 Riverdale Road West, dated April 23rd, 2018 be received. The council hereby authorize the mayor and clerk to sign the necessary documents to enter into an agreement for the encroachment at 8 Riverdale Road West. Questions of council? Actually, just a general question. Do we have a lot of properties that have encroachments throughout the township? Because when you look at the map, it's reasonably significant. I'm just curious. Or is this just an oddity? C.O. Brindley.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. There aren't a lot, and what we do is try to correct them as they come up. In this case, we're dealing with through an encroachment, but other ones you've seen before council is where we've actually deeded parts of the roads over. So there's not a lot, but being some of these areas are older, where people didn't use surveys to plant houses, we do catch a few.
I guess as a follow-up, is there any reason when they do pop up, we don't kind of do boundary adjustments, or would that end up with not meeting minimum lot or something like, I'm just curious if there's no hard and fast rule on it, and encroachment agreements are appropriate. Director Spagno?
Thank you, Mayor French. Good question. Usually because it's township land or if there's an encroachment agreement required, the ability to do a boundary adjustment isn't there, so it's usually through the surplusing process that gets dealt with, or it's through an encroachment agreement to allow for the continued use and that sort of thing.
Okay, thank you. All those in favor? Carried. Councillor Coghlan.
Mayor French, just reiterating the conflict.
Yes, thank you. Councillor Coghlan has declared a conflict in the next one. Heritage Village, can I have a mover and a seconder to get this one on the floor? Alan and Richie. That the report from the Director of Planning Services regarding Heritage Village draft plan extension dated April 23rd, 2018 be received. The Springwater Council does not object to a one-year extension for the Heritage Village draft plan in order to allow red line revision discussions to proceed, that the Ontario Municipal Board and County of Simcoe be so notified. And as noted, Councillor Coghlan has declared a conflict. Any questions from council on this? Deputy Mayor Allen.
Thank you. Through you, Mayor French, to Director Spagno. Can you give us any indication whether there's any updates with respect to the waste management with this property?
Director Spagno.
Thank you, Mayor French. You to Deputy Mayor Allen. There has been ongoing discussions between developers, engineers, the developers with Ainley Group and township staff to resolve some of the issues that were raised with respect to the sanitary services. As far as reporting back to any progress, there has been a set of, I guess, standards reached for the type of effluent treatment that would be done for the sanitary services. However, we're still trying to nail down the details so that there's something that can be acceptable to both parties, and mainly Ainley's being the township's engineering firm. My understanding is of the service is that it's going to go back to something similar or the same as what was originally considered through the draft plan approval, but we're still waiting on additional information to confirm that.
Follow up?
So can you expand? I can't recall what was originally planned, and I presume that does not involve any increase in the most recent proposed number of units?
Director Spagno.
Thank you, Mayor French. Through you to Deputy Mayor Allen. There are some revisions being considered to the plans. However, those haven't been solidified, so staff will have to report back on the finalized plans based on those discussions. One other key component that's being considered as well relates to potentially reorienting the stormwater management pond, which could have a result of additional units in one of the properties. However, those discussions are still underway as well. So as per the recommendation from staff for the extension of draft plan approval, staff felt it was appropriate for the one-year extension because there is ongoing discussion and there does appear to be progress with respect to the servicing questions and any of the traffic issues that were raised as well. So we're still talking.
Councillor Hanna.
Thank you, Mayor. It's nice to see a request for 1 year posted, but sometimes we keep getting the 3-year one, so it's nice to see the 1 year. Just a question I have. The last time this came forward, there was questions, I guess, generated mostly by myself about what was going to happen to the excess number of units that were approved for that area. It's being reduced by 241. I asked that question, and the response I got was that the township had not received any requests to move those 241 lots anyplace else than where they are now. So I would just like to know if there has been a request received.
Director Spagno.
Thank you, Mayor French. Through you to Councillor Hanna. No, there has not.
Any other questions? All those in favor? Carried. Information reports. Can I have a mover and a second to get them on the table? Coghlan and McConkey. That the report items 6.2 through to 6.4 be received as information. Any of these we want to pull for conversation or anything? Okay, seeing none, all those in favor? Carried. So can I have a mover and a seconder for the bylaws? Alan and Richie? That the bylaws listed here and be signed and sealed by the mayor and clerk. All those in favor? Oh, what, did you have a question? Okay, all those in favor? Carry. Hey, we're jumping the gun. And confirmatory bylaw, mover and second, Richie and McConkey. That bylaw 2018-030 to confirm and adopt the proceedings of council at the special meeting held on April 23rd, 2018, listed herein, be signed and sealed by the mayor and clerk. All those in favor? Carried. And now one of our really special ones, the adjournment, a mover and a seconder, Richie and McConkey. That the special meeting of the Township of Springwater is now adjourned at 7:30 PM to meet again in regular meeting on May 2nd, 2018 at 6:30 PM in the Council Chambers Administrative Center, Minising. All those in favor? Carried. Thank you. Meeting adjourned, and thank you for those attending in our audience.